When Crystal Rogers vanished without a trace, the locals of Bardstown, Kentucky searched high and low for answers. Then when her father, Tommy Ballard, was shot and killed a year later, many suspected there might be more to the story. As Crystal's case gained attention, the eyes of the nation turned to the small town of Bardstown and the secrets hidden within. Crystal and Tommy's cases, as it turned out, were the two latest cases in a series of 4 shocking and tragic murder investigations in as many years, all within the same quiet Kentucky town. Are all of these cases connected, or are they random? Join us on today's episode and be prepared to be immersed in the tangled web of conspiracy, corruption, and darkness that is Bardstown, Kentucky, an idyllic town turned epicenter of death and deception. Crystal Rogers, a 35-year-old mother of 5, went missing from Bardstown, Kentucky over the 4th of July weekend in 2015. Her case captivated national attention, with documentaries detailing the tragic mystery that left the local community searching for answers. A year later, Crystal's father was shot and killed in what appeared to be a targeted hit on a man close to uncovering the truth. However, these cases are only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this idyllic Kentucky town. Today, we will attempt to unravel the dark secrets and conspiracies of Bardstown, Kentucky, a rabbit hole that goes far deeper than meets the eye. July 13th, 2015. This was the last day that Crystal Rogers was ever seen alive. When she didn't answer calls from her family, Crystal's mother, Sherry Ballard, went to the police station to file a missing persons report. Shortly thereafter, Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard, happened upon a shocking sight. Crystal's car abandoned alongside the Bluegrass Parkway. Inside, her phone, keys, and purse were left sitting on the passenger seat. The back tire was flat, and there was no sign of Crystal anywhere. Crystal's boyfriend, construction worker Brooks Houck, agreed to come to the Bardstown Police Department to answer questions. While in his interview, Brooks received a strange phone call. He answered the phone, repeating back to the caller, "You're telling me I should leave? If that's what you're telling me, then I'll do it. I'll walk out right now." And walk out he did. Immediately after ending the call, Brooks declined to answer any further questions and walked out of the interview room. The mysterious call in question? It came from none other than his brother, Nick Houck, a Bardstown police officer. Nick would later be fired from the force for ethics violations. Calling your brother and telling him not to answer police questions is strange if you believe your brother is innocent. Doing so while being an active officer of the police department where your brother is being interviewed, that's interfering in an investigation. Since the day Crystal vanished, her parents fought relentlessly and tirelessly for answers. Tommy Ballard organized a group known as Team Crystal, made up of locals who wanted to help investigate, search, and bring Crystal home. In late 2016, a little over a year after Crystal's disappearance, Tommy shared with a few people in his circle that he was close to uncovering the truth, and he intended to take those findings to the police. Tommy and Sherry were never secretive about their beliefs. They were convinced that Brooks Houck was either responsible for what happened to Crystal, or at the very least, knew what happened to her. Then, in November of 2016, Tommy took his grandson out for a hunting trip on family property adjacent to the Bluegrass Parkway. While out hunting, Tommy was fatally shot. But make no mistake, this was no mere hunting accident. An unidentified male subject intentionally shot Tommy Ballard in the chest. This was almost certainly not random, given Tommy's constant pursuit of justice for his daughter. It appeared that Tommy had gotten too close to the truth, and someone, or multiple someones, wanted him silenced. Though Crystal and Tommy's cases have received the most media attention, they are not the first strange and shocking cases to come out of Bardstown. In fact, over a span of 4 years, Bardstown was home to 4 terrifying unsolved cases, and Crystal and Tommy were the latest of the 2. On May 25th, 2013, Bardstown police officer Jason Ellis had been working an extra shift. Officer Ellis worked with the drug enforcement team at the Bardstown PD, and he was a canine officer, usually accompanied by his loyal police dog, Figo. He wasn't originally planned to work this evening, but he agreed to help out by taking on an extra shift. His usual police cruiser was in the shop for body work, so he borrowed a car from the police motor pool. The vehicle he borrowed was not equipped to hold a canine, so he was not able to take Figo with him. Officer Ellis radioed out to dispatch around 2 a.m. to signal that he was clocking out and heading home. He took the Bluegrass Parkway toward home, getting off at exit 34. As he took the exit, he noticed branches and debris blocking the roadway, making it impassable to vehicles. Fearing the blockages might cause an accident, Ellis stopped his car to clear the road. He got out of the vehicle and walked over to the debris. In the blink of an eye, he was ambushed. Officer Ellis was shot numerous times. When a motorist taking exit 34 a short time later saw the stopped cruiser and Ellis lying on the ground, they used his radio to call it in. Officer Down came over the scanner, and police responded quickly. Unfortunately, Officer Jason Ellis was already dead. Ballistics confirmed he was shot by more than one assailant. He had been wearing a bulletproof Kevlar vest, but his murderers knew exactly where to shoot. He was shot in the neck, head, and between the seams of his vest. The borrowed vehicle did not have a dash camera installed, and Officer Ellis never fired his service weapon, indicating that he had been shot before he ever realized he was in danger. This brings us to the tragic story of Kathy and Samantha Netherland. Kathy was a special education teacher at the local Bardstown Elementary School. Her daughter Samantha was a sophomore at Bardstown High School and a member of the academic team and chorus. The two were beloved by their friends, neighbors, and community. They lived alone, with Samantha's older sister Holly being away at college. Their father and Kathy's husband, Robert Netherland, had died a year prior after losing his battle with cancer. Samantha was in the process of getting ready for prom, and there was no indication that either of these women had enemies of any kind. On April 21, 2014, tragedy struck. The following morning, when Kathy and Samantha did not appear for work in school, and Holly was unable to reach her sister, police responded to their residence for a wellness check. Inside, they discovered a nightmarish scene. Former detective Scotty Sharp described the scene as disturbing and evil. Kathy had been shot multiple times and suffered severe stab wounds. Samantha had been brutalized, with numerous stab wounds and a cut along her throat. The pair had been beaten so savagely with a blunt object that there was blood sprayed on the walls and ceilings of the home. Due to the level of violence, authorities concluded that this was not a random act. This appeared to be personal. Yet, when they investigated the personal lives of the Netherland family, there was absolutely no evidence to indicate that anyone would want to do them harm. The family was not involved with any shady or underhanded dealings of any kind. They were squeaky clean, and what's more, beloved by all who knew them. Police obtained security footage of a black Chevrolet Impala near the home, which included a short clip of a dark-clad figure walking across the porch and entering the house. this footage never brought investigators to any credible leads. With these horrific and tragic cases detailed, let's now explore the conspiracy and corruption swirling around this small town. As previously mentioned, Officer Jason Ellis had worked with the drug enforcement team of the Bardstown PD. Many say he was in the midst of a major discovery, which included involvement of fellow officers in organized drug trafficking operations through Bardstown. Though this sounds preposterous, it may just be the truth. In the summer of 2016, Bardstown Police Captain Tom Ruby was fired. Per a city employee report, Captain Ruby had been seen shredding documents, and he had wiped his computer hard drive. He was accused of disposing of documents that included Drug Task Force case files, lending credibility to the theory that Officer Ellis may have been onto something involving fellow officers. But the corruption doesn't end there. As recently as 2025, Nelson County Sheriff and Chief Deputy were indicted for misconduct and wrongdoing. 2 detectives spoke out in the wake of this controversy, making allegations that they were punished, including financially, for speaking up about misconduct within the local police force. Whoever was involved in the murder of Officer Jason Ellis executed their plan with flawless precision. Ellis was ambushed on his way home, but no calls had come into dispatch to report debris in the roadway on exit 34. This indicates the branches were placed in the roadway very shortly before Ellis took the exit. Who would have known that Ellis was on his way home at that exact time? Who would have known that he wasn't driving his usual vehicle and did not have his canine that night? Who would know exactly where to shoot to kill Ellis while he was wearing a bulletproof vest? When you couple these questions with the knowledge of the extensive police corruption in Bardstown, it paints a terrifying picture. It seems probable, even likely, that Officer Ellis's murder could have very well been an inside job. Recall from the Crystal Rogers case that Brooke Houck's brother, Nick, was a Bardstown police officer. Brooks was arrested in late 2024 and charged with murder. According to preliminary testimony from one of the arrests made in Crystal's case, Brooks wanted Crystal gone. Why did he need Crystal gone so badly that he would go to such extreme lengths to get rid of her? Some speculate that Crystal knew, or at least had suspicion of, what actually happened to Officer Ellis. If Nick Houck was somehow involved in Officer Ellis's murder, and Crystal knew about that, she was a liability. Perhaps in the heat of an argument, Crystal threatened to go to police with what she knew. If that were the case, then Brooks would have had plenty of motivation to quickly get rid of her. Then we return to the case of Kathy and Samantha Netherland. It's a much weaker argument and more likely to be pure conspiracy, but there are still connections worth examining. Amy Ellis, wife of Jason, worked as a substitute teacher, frequently working in the same elementary school as Kathy. Amy and Jason's son was reportedly a student of Kathy's. We know these women had no enemies, and therefore there was no cause for such a savage and cruel double homicide. Is it possible that Kathy saw or overheard something she wasn't supposed to? Former Bardstown Police Chief Rick McCubbin has pointed blame back at the community for the rumor mill obstructing the path to justice. Regardless, these rumors are more than small-town gossip. In 2024, a special prosecutor was assigned to Crystal Rogers and Tommy Ballard's cases. The same special prosecutor was also assigned to work Officer Jason Ellis's case. For years, these theories have been no more than conspiracy, but as it turns out, where there is smoke, there is fire. In a statement released in February of 2024, Special Prosecutor Shane Young said that the evidence in Crystal Rogers' case had mounted to more than a terabyte of storage, and that this evidence also contains files related to both Tommy Ballard and Jason Ellis. The Ellis family has long believed that the cases of Jason Ellis, Crystal Rogers, and Tommy Ballard are connected. When the Crystal Rogers case comes to trial later this year, those connections may finally be revealed at last, putting to rest rumors that have swept the state and the nation for over a decade. What truly happened in Bardstown, Kentucky? Will we ever know the full truth? How deep does the corruption run, and will it finally be rooted out? Will these 5 innocent people and their families ever get the justice they deserve? That all remains to be seen, but for now, the Bardstown, Kentucky conspiracy lives on, and this story shall remain as yet another tale from the underworld. Thanks for listening to Tales from the Underworld. If you're fascinated by the stories we uncover, make sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. For even more exclusive content, head over to our website at talesfromtheunderworld.com and subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get insider access to deeper case details, early updates on new episodes, and more true crime content sent straight to your inbox. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay out of the shadows.